Welcome back to 5 Talk Street. I'm Scott Murray. Hey, did you know that Fort Worth was once known as the Queen City of the Prairie? Well, today, less than half of the percent of native prairie remains, and it's right here in the heart of the city. Don Young is the founder and also the director of Friends of Tandy Hills Natural Area, and is here to tell us a little something about what all that is about. I mean, I'd never heard of this. I have never heard of this. I've been here for over almost 35 years.
The Queen City of the Prairie?
Right.
Well, I think in the very earliest days of Fort Worth, the Chamber of Commerce of that day was trying to lure settlers here.
All right.
And the prairie was one of the best things they had, and people came from all over the country, and that was the tagline they used, Queen City of the Prairie, to get people here. And as a matter of fact, when they got here, a lot of people said they'd never seen anything more beautiful. Unfortunately, there's less than half of 1% of that original prairie left, and right here, just outside the studios here, is one of the last 160 acres of that prairie.
Now, is it because we're on such a high area, we're up here on Broadcast Hill, is that the reason? Because it's one of the highest areas? What's the reason that this is one of the unique 1% is what you said?
Less than half of 1%. I'm not sure why. I think the particular location here has helped save it from development over the years. But the reason it's so unique is, I think it's partly due to the hills themselves. You know, they don't call it Tandy Hills for nothing. It's very hilly, very steep angles. You can get your exercise over there very easily. But because of the elevation changes, you have a lot of soil types, which benefits a variety of plant species. So that's probably one of the main reasons.
All right, so you decided to create this organization. What was the initial reason to do something like that?
Well, the initial reason goes back to 2004 when I heard a rumor that there may be gas drilling in the park or nearby.
Okay.
And that was kind of the spark that set me off, so to speak.
Don't say spark and gas at the same time. That's not a good combination. Go ahead, I'm just kidding you.
So that's what got it going. That was the impetus that started the organization. And the point was to get the public aware of what we have here.
What was the initial response like?
The initial response was pretty good. Even though this park is relatively unknown, it's in a part of town where a lot of people don't go to. There's no development here to speak of. The public loves this park. You know,
So it is open to the public. Anybody could walk down there today?
Oh, certainly. It's owned by the city of Fort Worth. It was bought by the city in 1960. And it's 160 acres of native prairie. It's undeveloped. In other words, there's no soccer fields or baseball fields. It's all wild nature, so to speak.
So what am I going to find down there? Am I going to find snakes, alligators, elephants, monkeys?
Oh, maybe unicorns. I'm not sure. We call it the land that time forgot because no one really knew about this park.
Is there water and what have you going through there? Are there streams?
Very little water down in the bottom. Of course, I-30 divides Tandy Hills from the Trinity River. So if you just walk across I-30, which I don't recommend, you'll be right there in the Trinity River Greenbelt area too. But it's two totally different worlds. Tandy Hills is noted for its native plant species, and in fact, according to a lot of experts, it's unmatched in the continental United States as far as plant diversity. There's over 500 native plant species there. Your average front yard might have 2 or 3 native plant species at the most. So you can see it's kind of a living textbook. It's a really special piece of property. In my opinion, it's the most valuable piece of land in Fort Worth.
Our weather this year in Texas has been absolutely crazy. We've had hot spells, we've had dry spells, from droughts to being just rained upon like we didn't think it was ever going to end, and then it got extremely hot. We had over 100-degree temperatures in June and what have you. I mean, how does that affect some of the plant life? Has that been an issue or a concern at any point?
Not yet. I don't think global warming's kicked in completely here.
Okay.
However, the prairie's been around a long time, and it's thousands of years of all kinds of weather. So these plants are very well suited to this habitat. For instance, there are over 80 varieties of native grass in this prairie, which is amazing. That's what prairies are really all about, is the grass. The tall grass prairie is what it's called. So a lot of those plants have roots that are extremely long, so they can reach way down there and reach whatever water they need to get by.
What would somebody find if I wanted to take, say, my family? Say I had my children are grown today, but I mean, if I was to take my children many years ago over there, what would we be looking for? Is there a museum that you've put together as yet?
No.
Is that something down the road, a vision that you'd like to be a part of?
Oh, certainly. As a matter of fact, the city of Fort Worth has a master plan that we helped urge them to create, that they spent about a year getting published. And the master plan is actually being enacted slowly right now. One of the first things we have to do is eliminate a lot of the non-native species and some of the native species that are kind of out of control that can shade out a natural prairie. So as far as what you would see down there, it depends on what time of year. If you go in the spring, there's not a better wildflower show in the entire Metroplex. There are so many varieties of plants that grow there, very colorful plants that grow nowhere else in this area. So if you just drive by along View Street, which is the street out in front of the park there, you'll see an amazing wildflower show. And then if you go in the fall, you're going to see tall grass up to here, 8-10 feet tall, growing, which is an amazing resource to have here, and right in the middle, 5 minutes from downtown Fort Worth.
Is there any manicuring of the grounds or anything, or is it just kind of nature takes care of itself and does whatever it does?
Pretty much. Right along the street, the city mows mainly because of fire danger here and there, although that's not a serious problem. Actually, that is the problem as far as the prairie is concerned, and why we have these other species out of control, because there's no natural fire anymore like a prairie needs. The fire department's right down the street, so the slightest little fire that they put out quickly. And that's good for the people that live around there, but it's not so good for the prairie. And that's kind of where Friends of Tandy Hills comes in. We help work with the city to enact the master plan, which a big part of that plan is removing a lot of these invasive species.
You started this, you said, in 2004.
Roughly.
70 years ago. You had this vision, I'm sure, long before that. Now you've got 7 years behind. Has it been worth it? What's the satisfaction that you've gotten out of that personally? Because obviously I can tell this is a great vision to you. It's a great passion.
Yeah, it is a great passion. And to me, there's so little of land like this left in Fort Worth that I think is worth preserving. So that kind of drives my passion. And also, these days, most people stay inside, they're on their computers. People are not connected with nature anymore. And I think that's a great loss to them individually and to society. So we try to get people out there, and it's so easy because the park is right here, centrally located, right off I-30, just literally almost downtown. So it's a great place to come and get reconnected with the natural world.
The world needs more Don Youngs. Thank you. It sounds great. I'm going to check it out. I've lived here all this time, had no idea it was there.
Right out the back door.
Fantastic. I'm going to check it out. That's a promise.
We'll
be right back with more of 5 Talk Street, so don't you go away.